Hello everyone, welcome to today's session where we will be diving into a book that has potential to change the way you approach not just practice but life itself. We are talking about The Practicing Mind by Thomas M. Sterner, a book that teaches you how to embrace the process of mastery and, in doing so, master any skill or goal you set for yourself. If you have ever felt you are not making progress or that you are stuck in the loop of frustration, this is the perfect book for you. Today, we are going to break down the core principle, share real-life examples, and give you practical takeaways so you can apply the power of practicing mind in your own life. Let's get started. In the chapter 1, what is practicing mind? So, what exactly is practicing mind? In essence, this book teaches you that success and mastery aren't solely about achieving an end goal. They are about how you approach the process along the way. Sterner explains that it is not the result, but the experience of practicing and being present in each moment that leads to mastery. We often become fixated on the destinations, whether that's a promotion at work, mastering a skill, or achieving a personal milestone. But the practicing mind shifts that focus. It tells us that you can only truly enjoy success when you embrace the process, learning how to stay present in every moment of practice. Practicing with full attention, without impatience or frustration, it is the secret to long-term success. What next? Why people fail at practicing? Let's talk about why people fail at practicing or giving up before they see results. The main reason simply impatience. It is easy to think of practice as something to get through, as if it is just a step between where you are and where you want to be. But this mindset sets you up for frustration because practice doesn't always show instant results. Take, for example, someone learns how to play piano. He sits down to practice a new song, but after a few attempts, he's frustrated because he still can't play it perfectly. At this point, he might quit or feel discouraged because he is focusing on the outcome, playing the song perfectly rather than on improving one note at a time. Sterner teaches us that when we practice, we must shift our focus from end results and instead embrace the process of getting better step by step. Think about learning how to cook. The first few attempts at making a new recipe may not turn out perfectly. Maybe the pasta is overcooked or the sauce isn't as flavorful. But instead of seeing those mistakes as failure, you can see them as learning experiences that refine your cooking skill. Each dish you make, no matter how imperfect, teaches you something valuable that moves you closer to becoming a master chef. In the next chapter, we are going to study about the importance of patience. Patience is the theme that runs throughout the practicing mind. In the world of instant gratification, think fast food, social media, or even streaming. Patience is something many of us struggle with. Sterner emphasizes that mastery takes time, and in order to enjoy the process of getting better, we need to be patient with ourselves and with practicing itself. The truth is that we can't speed up the process. If we are constantly checking the clock, counting down the days until we reach the end goal, we miss out the experience of practicing. It is like trying to force a plant to grow faster. It simply doesn't work that way. You can water it, give it sunlight, but you can't rush nature. And so it is with our own progress. Let's take example of a person who is training for a marathon. The first few weeks of running might feel tiring and slow, and it seems like little progress is being made. But with patience and steady practice over time, that person will build stamina, strength, and endurance. The key is embracing each training session as part of the long journey, knowing that every run brings them one step closer to the finish line. In the next chapter, we are going to focus the power of focus and presence. Focus and presence are two pillars of the practicing mind. Sterners argues that most people fail to make significant progress because they let their minds wander to the end results, the finish line, instead of staying in the present moment. You may be practicing an instrument, but if your mind is constantly wandering to when will I be good enough to perform, you're missing the point of practicing. The key is to bring your full attention to the task moment by moment. Think about a basketball player practicing free throws. Instead of worrying about winning the game or the score, they focus on mechanics of each shot, the stance, the follow through, the release. By staying present and perfecting their techniques, they will be naturally get better. The game won't feel as stressful when they are in the moment, and their results will improve because of their attention to the details. In the next example, let's say you're learning a new language. You could become overwhelmed thinking about how long it will take to be fluent. But instead, if you focus on just learning a few words each day, immersing yourself in the process of memorizing vocabulary, you will be gradually begin to see improvement. The key is embracing the daily practice rather than rushing to fluency. In the next chapter, you must know how the mistakes are part of the process. One of the most powerful messages in this practicing mind is that mistakes are an essential part of growth. We often fear making mistakes, but in reality, they are stepping stone to mastery. Sterner teaches us that the key is not to avoid mistakes, but to learn from them and allow them to guide our practice. Take a sculptor for instance. The first time they approach a block of marble, they may make a few misjudgments, but it is through these errors that they begin to understand how to shape the stone. The more they practice, the more skilled they become, and with each mistake, they refine their technique. It is not a failure, but a valuable lesson that shapes their art. Let's think about learning to drive a car. The first time you get behind the wheel, you might make mistakes like misjudging a turn or forgetting to check your blind spot. But with every mistake, you learn and become more comfortable behind the wheel. Over time, driving becomes second nature. In the next chapter, we have to understand the concept of letting go of the outcome. Letting go of the outcome is perhaps the most profound lesson in the practicing mind. So, many of us focus on the goal, the job title, the perfect body, and the finished product that we forget to enjoy the process of getting there. Sterners explain that we need to release our attachments to the end result and instead trust the process. Imagine you are an artist painting a canvas. If you obsess over the final image, you may become discouraged or overwhelmed by the weight of finished piece. But if you let go of the need to get it right, the simply focus on adding brush strokes, experimenting with color, enjoying the act of painting, and you will be able to create the best work. Think about a writer. If they are always focused on getting a bestseller, they might feel discouraged with every draft. But if they shift their mindset to enjoying the process of writing, of creating each sentence and paragraph and chapter, the joy of writing becomes a reward, not the book deal. In the next chapter, we will learn how to practice the mind in daily life. So, how you can apply this principle to your life right now? Well, here is the good news. You don't need to be learning a musical instrument or training for a marathon to benefit from the practicing mind. These principles apply to anything you're working on, whether it is personal growth, your job, your relationship, or your fitness. Start by identifying one area in your life where you want to improve and commit to practicing without obsessing over the results. Break it down into small, manageable steps and focus on present moment. Trust the process and let each small efforts to be your guide. So, if you have enjoyed this breakdown of practicing mind, I encourage you to take action today. Choose one area of your life, where you can shift from outcome focused to process focused. Share in the comments below what that area is, and let's create a community of people who are committed to mastering the art of practice. Thank you for tuning in today's session. I hope you are feeling inspired to embrace the process of mastering anything you set your mind to. Remember, every step you take towards practicing with full presence, patience, and focus bring you closer to your goal. Keep practicing and trust the journey. See you next time.